is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. This is our 10th episode of Step 1. So I first want to say thank you all for listening to my show these past 10 weeks. It really means a lot to me that you take the time to listen to my hot takes on sports. This is also a special episode because for the first time, we are putting Step 1 on Spotify in addition to YouTube. So if you want to listen to something during your morning commute, why not listen to Step 1 on Spotify? Also, I made the investment, got myself a better mic, as you can see here. So pretty cool. I think you're going to get a much better sound quality experience. So I hope you keep listening to Step 1. And again, thank you so much for listening. This crazy idea I had about 2 months ago is now something I get to do every week. And it's just been a lot of fun. Thank you for listening. All right. So for our 10th episode, we have a great show for you. My good friend Nadav Herstik is going to be joining the show. We're going to talk a little Michigan football. We're going to talk a little bit about the NBA, where the in-season tournaments and the knockout stage. We're going to discuss a wild weekend of college basketball. And, of course, we will do a full preview and recap of college football and the NFL. All right, let's ride. All right, let's start with college basketball. Ton of upsets this weekend with the ACC-SEC Challenge. Clemson takes down Alabama. And we saw Duke fall to Arkansas. I love how you could hear the PA announcer in Arkansas shout at the end of the game, "Please don't storm the court." There's no way a bunch of college kids who just watch their team beat Duke are not going to storm. Like, it's just not going to happen. There are plenty of times where you don't need to storm the court. But being Duke is absolutely a reason to storm. On Friday, we had a fun ranked matchup with Kansas hanging on to beat UConn. Then on Saturday, while I was watching college football and watching the Ducks beat Michigan in basketball, that's right, I went to the game. We won in overtime. But we did have a string of upsets. Wisconsin beats in-state rival Marquette. That's a big win for the Badgers. Duke loses for a second time in a row to Georgia Tech. And for the first time, UNC Wilmington beat a ranked team by taking down Kentucky. In Kentucky, I should have. They went to Lexington and won. Shout out to my friend Casey, by the way. She went to UNC Wilmington, so good win for her and just a great win for the program. All right, let's move into the NBA. We have the in-season tournament knockout stage set, where the road to Vegas continues. I am recording this on Monday, so as of this taping, we don't know all the teams going to Vegas. Unfortunately, the Celtics are not going to Vegas. We lost to the Pacers, a team who I did not realize is actually playing very well right now. So give the Pacers some credit for being the Celtics. They're a good team. They're probably a pretty fun team to watch. I haven't watched much of the Pacers, but I might start tuning in more. Also, as of his taping, the Pelicans are going to beat the Kings, so Zion and the boys will be going to Vegas. I'll give a full breakdown of the NBA in-season tournament next week, but I just thought I would talk about the first two knockout stage games. Great win for the Pelicans. Great win for Zion. Would have loved to see the Kings in Vegas. Kings are a lot of fun, but you can't go wrong with Pelicans and Kings. Both really fun teams. All right, let's move into college football. It was a chaotic championship weekend. It wasn't great for me because I'm a fan of the Oregon Ducks. I think it's safe to say Dan Lanning has a problem winning against the Washington Huskies. He's now 0-3 against them. To their credit, Washington's a very good team. High-powered offense, very solid defense. Much better than I remember, to be honest. This just seemed like the perfect redemption story for Dan Lanning and the Ducks. We lose to Washington his first season. We lose earlier in this season. But we start playing way better after that tough loss. Washington is just scrapping to get wins. But sadly, it was not the case. It wasn't meant to be. Credit to Washington. They came out to play. The Ducks start off too slow, but I was so confident we were going to come back. We were down like 20-3, but I'm like, we could do this. And we briefly did, but Washington was just too much to handle. I also realized every time we've lost Washington, it's been by 3 points each game. It's just, we don't get blown out by them, but we just can't figure out how to beat them. But at least with conference realignment, we still get to play the Huskies every year. And I'm telling you, when they come to Eugene next season, they better watch out because teams that usually who come to Eugene don't win. All right, for championship games on Saturday, it all started with the Texas Longhorns demolishing the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I think it's safe to say, and I've hinted at it all season, but I think it's safe to say Texas is back. Then with the SEC championship, the chaos began. Alabama beat Georgia. It was a great game. It created what would end up being a ton of chaos for the College Football Playoff Committee. This was, I love the chaos. The Big Ten championship was very underwhelming. Iowa's defense, like always, played a great game. Their offense couldn't do anything. I still do not understand how this defense is motivated to play, knowing damn well there's no way the offense can get the ball to the opposite side of 50. Because the entire season, Iowa's defense played so well, and their offense couldn't back them up. Anyways, great win for Michigan. We'll talk more about it with Nadav later on the show. And for the ACC championship, Florida State, with a third-string quarterback, was able to hold off Louisville and go undefeated for the season. So you would think they'd be celebrating about being in a playoff right now. But as we learned, we were very wrong. So on Sunday morning, the playoff committee announced the teams that would be competing in the college football playoff. And they decided to pick Alabama, who has one loss. Keep in mind, they picked them over an undefeated Florida State team. I understand Florida State is an injured quarterback, but games need to matter. They did go undefeated. They did win pretty much 3 games without Jordan Travis. Like, they got the job done without him. Yeah, I agree. Alabama's currently a better team. And I agree with the logic that Alabama versus Michigan will make for a better game. It probably will. But Florida State was able to beat Florida down the swamp. They were able to win the ACC championship all without Jordan Travis. Their defense stepped up in those games. They have a great defense. I'm not sure what the committee needed to see to prove that they were worthy of the 4th seed instead of Alabama. Like, Jordan Travis, I should have broken my leg earlier. Like, no, he didn't need to break his leg earlier. Like, it's just, it's sad. It's still going to be a fun playoff game. It just is a bummer. Like, what are you supposed to do? I still think if Florida State beats Georgia in the Orange Bowl, which they probably won't, but you never know, they should just declare themselves as national champions, because I don't think in the era of college football, this era of college football, there's been a Power 5 team that went undefeated and didn't make the playoff. I know Alabama is in theory the better team right now, but the regular season games need to matter, and the committee just flat out failed Florida State this season. All right, let's talk about the NFL. We begin on Thursday night in Dallas for what was actually a good game of Thursday night football. I know that on the show, I predicted the Seahawks were going to get blown out, but I was wrong. It was actually a very fun game that went all the way down to the wire. I will say the final 4th down play for the Seahawks was abysmal. When you play the Cowboys, you got to block Michael Parsons. At least make him work for it a little bit. I know he's going to get his sacks and get his hits, but he can't go unblocked. He goes unblocked, forces Gino to throw early, game's over. Now, I understand missed block assignments happen, but this is the one guy you need to block. If you get a delay of game, I know it wouldn't be great. They didn't have any timeouts, but you need to block that guy. It's not like he was disguising what he was doing. You know he's going to come. His job is the pass rush, and that's exactly what he was going to do. Blew my mind, but good win for the Cowboys, I guess. I hate the Cowboys. All right, moving into Sunday. The Saints attempted a 21-point comeback against the Lions, but it came up short. But it made for a very fun game. We got to see Jameis Winston play, which is always fun. So, about Jameis Winston, I actually saw this funny meme about him. This is not my original take. I'm not sure where I saw it, but it's very funny, and I wanted to share it with you. So I saw a meme that said, Jameis Winston is like Taco Bell. You know it's trash, but deep down you know you really want it. I can't think of a better analogy for Jameis Winston. Again, not my original line, but very funny and very accurate, I should add. The Broncos' win streak was ended by the Houston Texans. Who would have thought the Texans would be 7-5 at this point? They're a pretty solid team, and C.J. Stroud is making a very strong case for Rookie of the Year. The Patriots also found a way to lose again. They are turning into the Iowa of the NFL, except unlike Iowa, they can win games. Their defense is giving them every chance to win. They've only allowed 10 or less points per game, but they've still lost every game in the last 3 games. I'm convinced that Belichick's actively tanking the season for draft picks. And of course, Bill Belichick has to be good at tanking. Like, of course he's good at tanking. In the afternoon, the 49ers got a redemption on the Eagles with a blowout win. The game started slow for the 49ers, but once they got rolling, nothing was going to stop them. We also got to see Joe Flacco make a return to the NFL by playing for the Browns. He played better than I thought, but Flacco is old, and at this point, he should just retire. He had a good career, won a Super Bowl. Like, he doesn't need to be playing. Like, he's not going to help. All right, and on Sunday, we had the best game of the week. The Packers were able to shake off the power of Taylor Swift, who was at the game. They only showed her once on TV. I think the NFL was told to tone it down a little bit. But the Packers beat the Kansas City Swifties. Now, Taylor Swift is a very powerful person. I've said many times on the show, we are a Taylor Swift podcast. She can influence a lot of things. But no one can stop Matt LaFleur and the Packers from winning in December. We're now 16-0 in December games under Matt LaFleur. The Chiefs gave a run for their money, but Jordan Love had an awesome game, and I hope the Loverfest movement keeps growing because we are a Loverfest podcast. I am the proud and probably only member of the Loverfest. I will say to all the haters out there that comment on this video that it was totally pass interference at the end of the game, and it should have been Chiefs first down in the red zone. Well, I would like to argue that pass interference is subjective, and the refs decided not to call it pass interference. I would be mad too if my team lost. My team didn't lose, did they? They won, so it's a subjective call. I guess it wasn't pass interference. I'm now in the mindset, though, that the Packers are going to make the playoffs. The season started out terribly. You saw how miserable I was in October. It was a very dark October. But now looking at our schedule, we play no teams over 500, and we've got a chance to make the playoffs. Even if we lose in the playoffs, I still think this season was a success. And the future is once again bright in Green Bay. Like, I really hope they sign Jordan Love because I think with the right pieces around him, which I think we're building something, this could be a very good team in a couple of years. And on Monday night, I know I said this game was going to suck. I think I said last week that with Jake Browning playing instead of Joe Burrow, like the Jags were going to run all over them, and I probably went off on Jake Browning because he's a Washington Husky. However, this was actually a very good game. I do want to say, I hope Trevor Lawrence is okay. He went back to the locker room after hurting his ankle, so we hope that he's going to be all right. But man, what a game, and it pains me to say this, but Jake Browning played very well tonight in the Bengals win. I know I've said my thoughts on Jake Browning, but he had a solid game. I'll give him credit for that. He's making a case to find a starting job for another team next season. So good win for the Bengals. Tough loss for the Jags, but I'm just glad we had a good football game because I was not anticipating this at all. And now let's go to my interview with my good friend, Nadav Herstik. Okay, today we welcome on a very special guest, good friend, Nadav Herstik. Nadav, how you doing?
Freddie, good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. All right, let's dive into it. You're a Michigan football fan.
2 words for you. Go Blue.
Go Blue. All right, I actually have some questions. Before we talk about the football season, which has been a season of ups and downs, why does Michigan not have? I know Michigan's the Wolverines. Why don't you guys have a physical mascot?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Like, because again, like, I don't know if I love the like "Go Blues" like chant because, like, I don't know, you don't say "Go Wolves." Like, I don't think you identify as like a Wolverine. You're a Michigan man.
I say Go Blue. You don't say Go Wolverines. I mean, I think the funniest mascot probably in all of mascots is Tulane.
Is Tulane the wave?
Roll wave.
Roll wave.
Their mascot is a wave.
It is a dumb mascot. It's the wave. No, but I feel like it's like weird, but they just don't have a physical mascot. Like,
yeah,
it would look if they had one.
Freddie, how the hell are you? It's good to see you, my friend.
It's great to see you too. It's been a minute. All right, let's talk about the football season. What are your thoughts on the whole Harbaugh thing? I can never pronounce his last name.
Harbaugh thing is, in my mind, it's Fugazi, Woozy Wazi, fairy dust, doesn't exist. It hasn't landed yet, not on the elemental charts. It's not fucking real. Um, I think it's a witch hunt. It's frankly a witch hunt. Excuse me. But it doesn't matter because we won and we're number one seed. This morning, actually, as of recording, it's currently December 3rd. We will be playing Bama in the Rose Bowl.
I know. Florida State got snubbed. Florida State got snubbed.
Dude, I honestly feel bad for Florida State.
I feel bad, but I also think it's a better matchup. Like, you want to see this, and also the committee loves Bama.
Committee, can I curse?
I mean, my mom watches the show, but like in some context, it's okay.
Committee fucking loves Bama. All right, and Bama can get the hell out of here. We don't need any more Bama. Nobody's going to feel bad for Alabama if they don't make the college football playoff, okay? You have FSU who went 13-0.
But
and
no
you have
Jordan
Bama
Travis.
Yeah, no Travis. I mean, you're telling me one.
He's their best player.
Okay, then give him the Heisman. Give him the Heisman then.
No, Bo Nix is winning the Heisman.
Then FSU should be in because you're telling me that he is 13-0 and not FSU. I don't buy it. I think it's a little fugazi. They wanted an SEC team in. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be probably a better game against Alabama. And I'm going to go to the Rose Bowl if I can afford it. But I'm in LA. And I mean, I would prefer to see FSU in there. And it's not just because I'm a Michigan fan and I think we could beat them over at Alabama. It's because I actually feel bad for a 13-0 team not making it. But Bama didn't go 13-0. It's as simple as that. What do you want?
But I mean, Bama, like, you have to give credit. Talk about Michelle. Like, this might be like the best Nick Saban coaching job we've seen during his career. Like, from where they were, like how much they struggled. They lost to Texas. They barely beat South Florida. They're like, we're gonna bench Jalen Milroe. We're gonna start our other guys. And where they are now, like, you gotta give him credit.
My question is this:
yes,
Bama loses to Auburn. Are they in the SEC playoffs?
In the playoff, no.
Not the playoffs. Are they in the SEC championship?
They had already made the championship before they played Auburn.
Okay, so it was still going to be Georgia Bama either way.
But that Auburn game would have, if they had lost that, which they should have,
which they won.
They would have been a playoff. Florida State would have been in it. But again, once I saw that Bama won, I'm like, I'm rooting for chaos, and we got the chaos we wanted.
I honestly wanted Bama to win against Georgia as well.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling Georgia again. I didn't want a three-peat.
But my roommates actually go to UW. They go to University of Washington.
We're an anti-University of Washington podcast.
I'm okay with that. Okay. Excuse me. I watched the game with them, and my number one comment was if I went to the University of Oregon, I would hate this school.
I mean, that's how it works. We're salty because most of us who go to Oregon didn't get into Washington.
What's that, Freddie?
Most of us who went to Oregon didn't get into Washington.
Oh, really? Washington's a better school?
I mean, we're a better school in my opinion, but a lot of us also applied to UW and didn't get in. Like, I applied to UW, didn't get in. Would I have gone? Probably not, but
I actually, and listen, Freddie knows this because he was there. I visited the University of Oregon, and I had a great time. I went on a road trip when I graduated college with two of my buddies, and we drove around the entire country. The first place that I was in was Nashville. I flew down to Nashville. They did the whole East Coast. I met him in Nashville. I flew down, and the first night we went out, we're in the line for a bar, Jason Aldean's or something. One of those. We're on Broadway, obviously. And my friend Ellis and I go, let's find somebody who's forklift certified. That's our goal for the night. All right, we need a goal. That's our goal. I don't know. We wanted something fun. And so what we did was turn to the people next to us in line and say, hey, are you forklift certified? And they were forklift certified. It turns out that they were. And then we became friends with them. We hung out with them the whole night. We went up to the top of the bar. We got in the VIP section. There was this like drunk rich dad who was giving us shots. The next night we went out. We saw him again. And then they told us, okay, we go to the University of Oregon. We're going to be there this summer. We said, oh, we're actually going to be passing through there on a road trip. And they're like, yeah, come stay with us. 3-4 weeks later, We go to the University of Oregon. We have a great night in
It
Eugene.
was a fun night.
I was exploring Hinge on every single city, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think Oregon had the prettiest girls. That's just my my factor there. Take that as you may. Continue 1 second.
Okay.
All right, close the door there. So that's my
Wait.
anyway. I'm a
Why
fan
was this person forklift certified? Like, what did they need to use a forklift for?
It's a great question. I don't remember. I think they might have worked on a farm. The point is, I like the University of Oregon. I do. My roommates go to the University of Washington. I would have loved to have played them in the Rose Bowl. But I think playing against Bama is just bigger stakes, to be honest with you. It just is. It's a bigger name. It's a bigger school. It's the SEC versus the Big Ten. I feel good about it. Go Blue. We'll see how it happens. I would have felt better about FSU, but I'm excited to watch the game. Hopefully, I'll be there in person.
What do you think about the other match? What do you think about Texas versus UW? Like, I hate both schools, but like, I kind of want to see Texas win. I just do.
So I actually also think I would prefer to see Texas win, just because it's fun. Like, like I'm okay with it. I love hook 'em. Like I got into two big schools. I got into a bunch of schools. Like Binghamton was the first one, but I didn't want to go to a state school or the one in New York. And then the two schools I was choosing between was Texas and Michigan. And I chose Michigan because it's a better academic school. But there's a place in my heart for Austin because it's freaking awesome down there, and it's a cool school. So hook 'em. I'd love to see Austin make it. I don't care about UW. They can get out of here.
Yeah, Michael Penix is overrated.
You think he's gonna? Who's winning the Heisman?
Want to see Bo Nix winning? I think it's gonna be Jane Daniels. Sadly,
I mean, of course
he had a good season, but also like a lot of Heisman voters have already voted. They voted before the championship weekend. Really? And a lot of Heisman, yeah, because ballots went out like last Monday, and they have a week to send them out, or a week to submit them back.
Oh, really? So is it already in?
So it's Sunday. The winner, I think, the winners get announced either tomorrow or Tuesday, or not the winners, the nominees.
The nominees, yeah. Okay.
So I think Bo Nix will be there. I don't think that's a debate.
Yeah, he'll absolutely be there.
And there are a lot of committee members who are kind of stuck in their ways and like go based off how good is the team. And LSU lost 3 games. Oregon did not lose 3 games. LSU got embarrassed by some teams that they should have lost to. Like they almost dropped like 50 points on them. But Jane Daniels had a great season, and give him credit. It was fun to watch. He's a great player.
How did they do this year?
I think they had 3 losses. They went like 9-3.
What division is Kansas in? Right, I did.
In Kansas or LSU? We're talking about LSU.
LSU.
They're SEC West. So they lost to Bama. They lost to Ole Miss. They lost to FSU. But again, Jane Daniels was electric.
I honestly didn't watch him once, but I'm sure he was.
Again, it obviously was no Joe Burrow season, but it was still fun. I think he has a very good chance. He is the favorite as of now.
That LSU team with Burrow was, I mean, if you look at you had Waddle, I honestly.
Waddle was on Bama.
Oh, then maybe it was a Bama team, I'm saying.
It was Jefferson, Chase, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah. That was the LSU team. Waddle was on Bama with Tua.
There you go. All right.
That was also a great Alabama team. Bad, like, I know they didn't win it all, but like Tua, Waddle, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy.
Hell of a team. Hell of a team, Freddie.
That still might be my favorite, like, single season, like single game matchup, LSU, Bama in 2019.
You think Burrow's ever going to win?
I mean, he's injured right now, but yeah, I think he's absolutely going to win.
How long has he been in the NFL? 3 years? 2 years?
4th season, I think.
4th season now?
First season, he tore his ACL.
Really?
Then he makes it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And again, they had a chance to win that game.
They did. Remind me how it played out.
Jamar Chase was open on that 4th down play that lost him the game. If he had like 2 more, if he had like half a second more, he could have gone in there.
You know what? It was a win-win for me. I think for America, because you either have Burrow or Stafford, and it's like Stafford finally gets a Super Bowl or Burrow gets a Super Bowl, and Burrow's so freaking cool. It's like, I mean, I was happy either way.
We're a pro Joe Burrow podcast.
Well, I'm on board.
Sometimes when I need motivation, I watch his Heisman speech. just a little, I need a little juice to get for myself today. I'm like, let's watch Joe Burrow's Heisman speech.
I love it.
I hope regardless of who wins, I just hope I hear a really good speech.
Yeah. Well, why don't we talk about the NFL a little bit?
Yeah, Packers.
Sure. You know, listen, I've been an Aaron Rodgers fan a long time, Freddie. And I don't know how you feel about him today, but Jordan Love, I think got a future there. You kind of stink right
Giants
now.
or Jets? I always forget.
You know, it's a great question. Grew up a Giants fan. That's actually a lie. I grew up a Peyton Manning fan. I didn't watch that much football in middle school. So my older brother was a Peyton Manning fan. That's what I did too. My house is a Giants fan. But at the beginning of this year, I denounced them. Okay, after that 40-0 loss to the Cowboys, I couldn't watch another snap, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna give the Jets a run for their money. And then after about 4 plays, I said, all right, we're gonna stick with the Jets because that's what I said I'm gonna do. And they're fun. The Jets are fun. We'll see what happens. I mean, when next year, I think honestly, I think if Rodgers was healthy, this could have been a Super Bowl team. And I don't think that's a hot take in any stretch.
The thing is that offensive line was so bad, though.
Yeah.
Like Rodgers would have been running for his life, and he can't run for his life. He's too old to be running for his life.
Maybe not. You don't know that. You know.
Yes, other NFL teams, like any other teams, you're like, wow, that's a fun team to watch.
I hate the Chiefs.
You're not a Mahomes guy?
No, the Chiefs can go to hell. Get enough with the Chiefs. They are annoying. They're just like they can. Can I curse? The Chiefs can fuck off. Okay, I'm enough with the Chiefs. I'm sick of them. Get the fuck out of here. Mahomes should not be in the MVP conversation at all. And I think the fact that it's just a quarterback award is a little fugazi. Like maybe
it's
give
not
it
just a quarterback award. It's just usually a quarterback
McCaffrey's
who wins
at
it.
plus 2,000. He's the only non-quarterback on the freaking ballot.
And he could win.
He's not going to win.
I mean, we could dream.
He could dream. It's gonna be Hurts, which I don't think people are gonna be happy with, but it's like
a tush push vote. Like it's such a gross play, but it's so effective.
The argument I see online is if everybody could do it, then you could ban it. But not everybody can do it.
Yeah, we've seen teams not do it. Like it does happen.
Like why not keep Goodell says he wants to ban the tush push. Get the fuck out of here, Goodell. Excuse my language.
I mean, Goodell just wants to ban anything that's cool.
Yeah, that guy's.
Or like he'll like throw in a bone like one year. Like he'll be like, "All right, like we can do this, but like you can't do this anymore."
Yeah.
Like remember when he banned celebrations, but then like brought them back.
The NFL is listen. No fun league is a colloquial term we use to describe the NFL for a reason because. They just find people. Some of these hits that they find people for the softest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, some of the hits are dumb.
Is it really for player safety, or is they just want to make another $54,000 and take it out of their people's salary?
They have enough money though.
I don't know. Some of these fines are just absurd.
Yeah, but I just I don't know. I still think the NCAA has its own problem zone, especially now with conference realignment. Which Oregon, Michigan next year
on the Pac-12 joining the Big Ten. It's the most fugazi thing I've ever fucking seen. Okay, what the heck? And this is a good Pac-12 year for you guys.
I know, but we need
the
TV
probably
revenue.
The best year I've seen of them since I've been watching college football. And I mean, you had Oregon, who was a great team. You had WashU or UW, who's in the freaking playoff. Like
USC was good for 6 weeks.
USC and UCLA are going to get absolutely dominated in the Big Ten. They're not going to be able to handle it.
And also, you kind of forget that other sports are affected too. So we're going to be, good basketball matchups next year, but it's going to be a grind for some of those games.
Well, I think the biggest thing is you got to travel.
Yeah, the baseball team is gonna. I think I've said baseball team's gonna have to go to freaking Piscataway, New Jersey, or College Park, Maryland. That's not an easy place to get to from Eugene, Oregon. Also, they fly commercial. It's not like they can afford to fly charter.
Oh, that stinks.
I know. Yeah, and I mean, at least
they'll
be there for 3 or 4 days at a time. That's a long way to go.
That's got to be, Oregon to Maryland. It's a 6-hour flight.
I mean, also, it's not like there's a direct flight from Eugene, Oregon to College Park, Maryland.
Yeah, true. It's a good point. You got
So
to
you
do a
have to like
confusing flight
go
to
to
pay for a
Seattle,
baseball
fly to
game.
DC or Baltimore.
Boo, boo.
What? Why? Who are you booing?
I'm booing whoever made the decision to dissolve the
Because
Pac-12.
they only fought about it in terms of football.
Yeah,
Because
I only
that's the
thought that in
moneymaker.
terms of football too, to be honest.
Yeah, like when I had Eli on the show last week, Eli totally forgot that like every other sport's gonna be affected times.
Eli Hearn is one of our other camp friends.
He was on the show last week.
Eli was?
Eli was on the show.
What? Well, I'm gonna plug my own bias against Eli because we used to be best friends, and this kid's way too cool for us now. Okay, all he does, he does Shabbat dinner, hangs out with Molly and Jesse, our camp friends. He did a whole gap year after college. I state my claim against Eli being too cool for us.
Again, he came on the show.
Well, he's not too cool for you, Freddie.
It was a lot of fun. He's a big fan of the show.
Who isn't? You know what?
I mean,
Big step one with Freddie Wilson is by the way, people come up to me in the street and they said, I can't believe you're gonna be on step one with Freddie Wilson.
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Come on, it's the first episode we're doing Spotify. Think about how many more listeners we're gonna get.
I'm glad to be here.
All right, but again, I'm excited for some of the basketball matchups. And hey, Oregon beat Michigan yesterday in basketball. Pretty neat. I was there. I went.
We were a basketball school a couple of years ago before we won the Big Ten championship. We were a basketball school for a year. My senior year, we made it to the Elite Eight and lost to UCLA. What was that stupid idiot's name?
Which one? There's a few on Johnny Juszczyk.
Yeah,
Juszczyk. There's
yes, it was him. He was filthy and he dominated us.
He's pretty good.
I'm not gonna say he dominated. Did he make it to the?
I don't know. I feel like he would totally be one of those guys who's totally still playing.
Jamie, can you pull this up?
He got someone. Hey, can you pull this up?
I actually have somebody outside pulling it up. Yeah, that guy. Me and my friend actually got into a fight after that Elite Eight game because when I was a freshman in college, I went to the University of Michigan. We went to the finals.
I remember that.
And we got smoked by Villanova, but we had a giant blow up, like maybe 40-foot screen, and we invited like 500 people to our backyard, and like we just watched the game.
This was at your frat, right?
Yeah, my frat. And when we won in the Final Four, we stormed the streets, and it was one of the most fun experiences of my life. Like it was hundreds, maybe it was thousands of people on South University, which is just this big long street down right in the middle of Ann Arbor. Everybody was packed in, and there was this stoplight in the middle that like hangs down, and it was a cross section stoplight, so it was just one, and everybody was crawling on people's backs trying to get up and like hang by the stoplight, and then we had cops that were like barreling through trying to tackle the people who were going for the stoplight.
And
then when they would go back, I don't know. They didn't want people fucking with the stoplight. And then other people would get on their people's backs and go back up there. We were all chanting and throwing.
But yeah, no, Michigan basketball, like I will say, when I saw Juwan Howard yesterday, like he looks like if Will Smith like played a basketball coach in a movie.
Yeah.
Like they kind of have a similar vibe going.
Yeah, I
like if they ever make a movie about Juwan Howard, Will Smith's gonna play him. They won't make a movie about Juwan Howard, but
yeah, I don't think he's worthy, but maybe
he was in the Fab Five documentary because he was part of Fab Five.
Everybody's fine. Yeah,
you know. So my dad actually went to Michigan during the Fab Five.
Really?
Yeah, he was getting his PhD.
Oh, okay.
Never went to a game. He kind of knew this was special. Like,
yeah.
And he just like, I don't know if he was busy or didn't really have any interest. Never went to a game.
Probably just didn't care.
That too. But he went to one football game.
Listen, I went to Michigan for 4 years. And one of those years, I forget how my senior year played out.
It was the COVID year.
It was the COVID year. So it was like a little weird.
Your football team sucked that year.
We did. We sucked that year. That's when we were a basketball school, was my senior year. And it was so, you know what? My friends did a 5th year at Michigan, my first freshman year out of college. And 8 of them did a 5th year, and a bunch of them were at that game. The first game we beat Ohio State in like 10 years. Okay. It was snowing and they stormed the field. We have this picture. It's like the the classic like stadium picture,
Mhm.
and it says like on the bottom strip like the game, and the score, and like my friends are in there, and it's like I wish I went to that game because that game looks just like it was
Yeah.
really just unbelievable.
I mean, I still like I want that game now where we beat UW, where we finally beat them because we've lost 3 in a row to UW. Dan Lanning has not figured out UW yet.
Do you think it's like genuinely UW has a good strategy against you, or is it just they're getting lucky?
They're all 3. We've lost by 3 every single time.
Yeah.
Well, so like last, Pac-12 championship, we started off slow, we got outplayed. We
Yeah.
came back. The game earlier this year, like we missed the game tying field goal.
Yeah.
But also like we went for it on 4th to like try to like keep the drive going, and we didn't get it, and then they scored, but we still had a chance.
Yeah.
Then Dan Lanning's first time against UW, they slightly injured Bo Nix. So then he has to go out for like 2 plays, but he's like hopping on the sideline trying to like get them to call timeout so we can go in on the 4th down play. Because he's like, it's 4th and 1. I can make this work. I can muscle through it and get the job done. And either Dan said he didn't hear him. Like the dude's hopping on him. He's like, coach, call a timeout. I can make this happen. But it is what it is. Like, it's one of those things, like, when we do beat them, because I was there, my freshman year was the first time we beat UW, probably like 2 or 3 years. That one was fun. That was a field storm day.
Yeah.
I mean, I was way too high up. I actually didn't get on the field, but that was a cool game.
I think I am of the notion that college football is better than the NFL. In terms of fan bases, yeah.
Even with conference realignment, expanded playoff, I still think next year is going to be a fun one.
Oh, the conference realignment thing also is kind of irritating because there's no historic bias against any of these teams. They're going to be built, but it's like
they'll be built over years, and also like again, as someone who's like has a lot of friends on the East Coast, like you went to Michigan, we have other friends who went to Michigan. Like that's gonna be fun. Me trash talking all my Michigan friends.
Yeah, honestly, I
don't have any friends who like go to Washington State or like USC.
Yeah, I think Oregon is a good team. I think we're going to dominate against UCLA and USC.
USC's going nowhere. This was the year for them to be good, and they did not make it happen.
At the bed there. I mean, Caleb Williams is. I think it was so funny when they were still like 4-0 or whatever in the beginning of the season, when he was like, "Yeah, like I'm gonna choose what team I go to in the NFL," and it was like, dude,
he's still a phenomenal player. I think he's gonna have a great NFL career. And also, like the offense wasn't a problem; it was the defense.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of I don't watch every game, but
yeah, like because that defense was abysmal. Like when I went to Oregon USC, like our first 2 touchdowns, one was like a 50-yarder, one was an 80-yard play where dudes just missed tackles, and then we're off to the races. And Austin, I know it's a lot smaller than a big house. That place is loud. Like
college football, man.
I don't know how loud does the big house get? Like it gets pretty loud there, I imagine, right?
I don't have a decibel rating, but I don't think we've gone under 100,000 people in like 200 consecutive games, which if you really think about that is freaking insane, man. Like
it's the 4th largest city in Michigan on game day.
It's think about like how it is. There is an economy that is built around there being football games on Saturdays at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, because you drive through it too. It's like we would walk to the games, but like if you're coming in, which now I'm an alumni, I don't go to the school anymore. Okay, I'm gonna have to go book a flight, get an Airbnb, or go to a hotel, and then I don't know, find somewhere to tailgate and then walk to the game or something. There's 100,000 people walking into that stadium every single Saturday that we play at home. It's unbelievable. It's over 100, usually like 110, 111. So, as a fan of the University of Michigan, as a student going there, I think some of our chants were a little nerdy, a little dorky. I didn't love all of them. I think the fact that we played Mr. Brightside at every game wasn't like, some people love it. Like, oh yeah, Michigan, Mr. Brightside. Shut up.
I mean, it is fun to sing with a group of people.
It's unbelievable. I love being a part of something. Before I went to Michigan, I thought it was like, oh, Michigan, like, are annoying. And then now that I went to the University of Michigan, I fucking love it. Like, go blue. You're absolutely goddamn right. I'm in the airport wearing a Michigan hat, and some guy says, go blue. Hell yeah, brother. Go blue. You're right. You're
I
goddamn
mean,
right.
it is like Oregon, like it is a nationally recognized brand. Like I walked around New York City with my Ducks stuff. Like I found a Ducks fan every single day. They're like, oh, like where in Oregon are you from? I'm from Springfield. I'm like, oh, I live in Eugene. Like that's the Springfield's right next to us. Like it's just small world.
Did you say go Ducks?
You say go Ducks, Frodeo. I've had that happen to me, like in Germany. Like the family was from California, but like I just like I'm walking to like a German beer hall, and I just see this like mom and her $2. They're like, oh, and then like we became friends with that family for the night. Like they all spoke German, so they were like making it so that like the guy gave us the good beers.
Yeah. I love it that you have something that can give you a connection. You might as well take advantage of it. It's a beautiful thing.
And a lot of the people in Germany, like great people in Germany, like they recognize the Like I had German people like, oh, you go to the University of Oregon. Like they know what's up.
I love it.
And also they love football in Germany.
Do they?
I mean specifically in Frankfurt, but like it's actually very popular in Germany.
All right. Love it.
Like obviously soccer's king.
I think we're gonna have. Are we doing a like? We're expanding our the NFL's expanding. It's like.
So there is like an NFL
international-
Euro League technically. It's mostly in Germany.
Well, no, because we have a London game. Are we gonna do another type?
Well, we have the Germany games too.
Yeah, the Germany game, right? Do we have a Germany?
So last year, it started last year. So last year was in Munich. This year we did 2 in Frankfurt. But they gave them like it was ridiculous. So the first game they gave them, it was back-to-back weekends. They did Dolphins Chiefs. Great game. It wasn't it wasn't the best game like overall. Like it wasn't the offensive explosion we wanted, but it was still like a great matchup.
Yeah.
You know what they gave them the next week?
What, like Jags Falcons or something?
No, Colts Patriots.
Ugh.
Yeah, no one needs to watch Mac Jones.
There's a time when that would have been a great matchup.
I mean, if it was Brady Manning, yes, but that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, back in our prime.
Back in the prime, yeah. I remember those Brady Manning games were a lot of fun.
I'm getting into a new era of our lives, Freddie.
We really are.
You start looking at like the Russell Wilson era of quarterback, which is like I think the first era for a lot of our age people who you started following football like 7th, 8th grade, and then like Russell Wilson's coming in, which is what, like 2012?
Yeah.
Like and then it's like that generation is on its way out. So it's you got Stafford, Russell Wilson, Rodgers.
I mean, Roethlisberger's retired, so those are kind of the last 2
dudes. That's kind of it. It's like so it's a different generation. We're now no longer the the pioneering. We are now watching the kids who are younger than us come in.
Yeah, I don't know. I was talking to my buddy yesterday. Like, you know what made me feel like really old? Like, remember when we were camp counselors together?
I do.
Way back when. So I think I had 10-year-olds, and like this was 2017, and like this kid was a huge Red Sox fan. He wasn't alive in 04. He doesn't remember that magic. Like that's like a defining childhood memory when the Red Sox won.
Yeah, well, you were 4.
I was 6, but yeah.
Okay, you're a little older, I guess.
I'm a year older than you, but
I'm 24.
I'm 25.
Oh, okay. Well,
but it was a defining memory of my childhood, like when we broke the curse.
You know what?
This kid couldn't remember it because he wasn't alive. Because he was born 3 years later.
And by the way, we were camp counselors 7 years ago, which is
almost
nuts.
7. Yeah, it was a wild time.
Our camp counselors, I had 10-year-olds. I had the was I Beavers?
Yeah, I was Beavers.
You were Beavers. I was Eagles. Yeah, I had the Eagles. They were already come and gone. They went through the whole damn thing.
I know. My kids just did it too. But remember when he made me try to steal our buddy Jake's car?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then I gave the whole game away.
Yeah, you completely botched it. What the fuck? You suck.
I'm like, so it's like, yo, where are you guys at? I'm like, in a parking lot. We stole my
car. Don't tell Jake that we're going to use his car.
I felt really bad about it. I didn't want to do it. He would have never known
what we were going to do. We were probably just going to get food or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and he wouldn't let us drive his car because he was off. He wasn't off that night.
Yeah, he was being a dork.
I've been trying to get him on the show for a while now, but he does. talk a little Red Sox baseball, maybe.
I haven't spoken to Mizell in a long time, frankly.
Definitely should.
I'll give him a call.
Any ever like hot takes about sports? Like we got a few minutes left.
We got a few more minutes. Well, I don't know.
Any basketball takes?
I love LeBron James.
You love LeBron James. You ever go to Lakers games?
Not yet. I went to a Clippers game in the spring.
Yeah, you went to a playoff game.
Yeah, that was fun.
Clippers games are fun. I went to one as well.
It was a little embarrassing for the Clippers. It was a playoff game.
They didn't win.
The energy was weak. I think they lost. I don't even remember. All I remember.
Who are the Clippers fans? Like who in LA actually genuinely likes the Clippers?
Nobody's a Clipper. Who the heck is a Clippers fan? Somebody in LA who doesn't like the Lakers, I guess. Like it's
just one of those things. Like I went because like it was a cheap ticket, and it was Clippers Kings.
I mean, if that was last year, it's a good game.
I mean, they almost broke the NBA scoring record in a single game.
Yeah, that's
because it was like 175, 174.
That's
2 overtimes, but
insane. Okay, yeah, that's insane.
But like it was a wild game.
I love LeBron James. I'm gonna put that out on the podcast now. Okay, this can stand in history that I've always been a big LeBron James fan. Top 3 moments. Why don't we do a quick favorite announcer moments all time? Top three.
Okay.
Not in any order necessarily. Blocked by James. 2016. I'm at my friend Charlotte's house. There's a giant party going on, and me and my brother Eli are watching on the TV. The only one paying attention to LeBron James taking down the 72-9 or whatever freaking Warriors. Or 73-9. And I had never been so thrilled in my life. Okay, blocked by James, Mike Breen. Number two is Auburn, Alabama. Freaking Iron Bowl. All right, pick six. He's gonna go all the way. I was a freshman in high school watching that game, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And I actually had a third one, but I forget what it was.
My number one is Ortiz in a deep right field. We'll see you later tonight. 2004, Joe Buck.
Yep.
Because it literally was. We'll see you later tonight. It happened at like 12:30 at night.
Yeah.
Like there's that one. I'm trying to think. The band is on a field. I wasn't alive, obviously, but like iconic play.
Iconic.
Do I have a third? I mean, there's so many good ones.
I love Nick Castellanos deep out to left field.
Which one's that?
It's I don't remember the announcer, but the announcer said something inappropriate and was like,
"Oh yeah, that guy."
And he's like, "I don't know if I'm ever gonna wear this headset again." As Nick Castellanos drives it deep out to left field, it's a 4-2 ball game.
And I'm he's apologizing for saying something insensitive as like he's still calling the game.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, do you believe in miracles? Miracle on Ice, that's a good one.
I don't even know which one that is.
That's the one where we beat the Russians. Like,
yeah, I wasn't alive.
But I mean, come on, it ended the Cold War. We beat the Russians.
America. God bless America. The Russians are
yeah. Any other like noble calls? I mean, you blocked by James probably takes the cake. That was just such a great call. Back out to Allen. Bang.
Yeah, that actually could be the best one.
Bang! Tie game.
Won't go. Rebound, Bosch, back out to Allen. Bang!
Just like I don't even think I even watched that game, but I was just like I
don't think I watched it either. I was 2012, right?
2013.
2013.
I was like back when like before I lived on the West Coast where finals game starts at 6.
Yeah.
Which is a game changer, by the way.
And we're both West Coast kids now.
We are.
I woke up this morning at 11:30. Freddie texted me before we have a minute left, but Freddie texted me, said we're still on for 1 o'clock. And I did the mental math in my head. I was like, what time is it in the East Coast? Because I was like, it's 3 hours ahead, so it's 2:35. Oh, I texted him. I just woke up. And I was like, oh, wait, okay, he's in the West Coast. So it's fine. We have time.
West Coast, Best Coast. All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. It was great seeing you, man. Go Blue. Hope you guys do well against Bama. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Nadav.
It was a pleasure having you. Thanks for having me, man. I look forward to step 1 becoming the next biggest thing in sports, in-home entertainment. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We look forward to seeing you next time.
All right. Thanks, Nadav. All right, so this is normally where I preview college football games for the weekend, but unfortunately, the regular season's over. I will say I'm working on finding new fun segments to fill the void now that the regular season of college football is over. So if the good people of Step One Country have any suggestions, feel free to reach out to me. Text me if you have my number. You can DM me on the Instagram. So I'm open to ideas. However, there is something we can talk about related to college football. Let's talk about the transfer portal. So obviously, it just opened up. So we don't know where these players are going that have entered the portal. But we're already seeing some big names enter the portal. Obviously, guys like DJ Ugalele and Cam Ward, it makes sense that they entered the portal. Washington State and Oregon State are no longer in the conference. They no longer have a place to play. So they're good players. They want to play in a Power 5 program. They don't really want to do what Washington State and Oregon State are doing, where they like play 5 Mountain West teams, 5 Power 5 teams, but aren't in a conference. I get it. I will say I do hope Cam Ward chooses Oregon because I think he would be very good in Dan Lanning's offense. But some names that surprised me were Kyle McCord out of Ohio State. Ohio State had a good season. Kyle McCord had not a great season, but he had a pretty solid season. Like, obviously it was hard to top the guys who came before him. It's hard to top Justin Fields. It's hard to top CJ Stroud, but I think he was an all right player. So that one surprised me. Dylan Gabriel, too, out of Oklahoma. Like, he's a good player, like, good system, good coach. You're playing for the Sooners. So those both surprised me. Both guys had good seasons. They were on good teams. Those were some names that I don't feel the need. Riley Leonard out of Duke could be a solid player to pick up in a portal. This one I get. His coach is off to A&M. Maybe he'll go to A&M. God, I don't want Riley Leonard at A&M. Nah, because if he goes to A&M, he'll just go win 8 games, and that's all A&M will ever do. Because for some reason, despite A&M fans thinking they're the best team, if they win 8 games a year, that is a good season for Texas A&M. Tyler Buckner has decided to enter the portal for a second year in a row. This time, he's trying to play lacrosse. It appears after getting injured at Notre Dame, struggling at Alabama, he's just switching sports altogether. And of course, the person who's way too stoked about a transfer portal is the one and only Coach Prime. I hope he gets no one out of a portal and Colorado goes back to being a terrible team with no hype around it. Honestly, I blame Deion Sanders for ending the Pac-12. Sure, there were other factors, like not having an adequate TV deal, and that UCLA and USC were already leaving. But once Deion Sanders said he was leaving the Pac-12 at the end of the season to join the Big 12, everyone else scrambled to follow suit. He was scared to play the Pac-12, and he knew it. There's a reason why they only won one Pac-12 game, because Colorado was an absolute garbage team, and Coach Prime may be a good coach. He may be, but he wasn't good enough to hang in the Pac-12, so like a coward, he decided to bail on the conference. Also, let's talk about the fact that Deion won Sports Illustrated's Person of the Year. In what world does a coach who only won 4 games win that award? This is a prestigious award. This dude's making the cover of Time magazine. He's winning the Sports Illustrated Man of the Year. I know he's changed the game a lot for Colorado, but at the end of the day, they won 4 games. They still were terrible. They still blew a 29-point lead against Stanford. They still lost a lot of games. At this point, Deion's got the swagger. He's got all of that. But you got to win games to be a good coach. You can't just be charismatic. Yeah, I know to start off as a talk about a transfer portal, I'll just turn to a rant about Deion, but I really wanted to get my point across about my thoughts on Coach Prime. All right, so in the future, I will do a full preview of the playoff in a few weeks, but now let's do our NFL preview for this weekend. And it all starts Thursday in Pittsburgh, where somehow 2 terrible offenses are going to have to figure out how to score points. So I actually have a take that we might see a 0-0 tie, because I'm not sure how either team, if they want to score, because the Patriots are tanking and the Steelers don't know how to score. Is this going to be a game that will be so bad it's going to be funny to watch? But again, it's live football, so I will be watching, of course. Moving into Sunday morning, not a great morning slot of games. We have the NFC South teams all playing each other, which could really help dictate who wins this dumpster fire division, because someone's got to win it. I personally think it's going to be the Falcons. But again, it's really kind of up for grabs, and it's just a terrible division that someone has to win, and one of those teams is going to be in the playoffs. In other games, we have the Bears trying to see if they can actually hold on to a lead against the Lions this time around. But I think the Lions are going to win this one. They're playing pretty well right now. The Bears are very much not playing well right now. I know they won last week, but it's the Bears. All right, in the afternoon games, we have a fun division rivalry. The 49ers and the Seahawks. 49ers are once again playing their best football, and the Seahawks are struggling right now. But it's a division game, so you never know what could happen. We also have a fun one with the Bills versus Chiefs. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. I know both teams are not playing as well as they would like to be, but when Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes play, it's always a recipe for must-see football, and I'm very excited for this game. I think there's going to be a lot of great plays. I think it's going to be a high-scoring, fun game, so I'm excited for this one. But of course, the talk of the NFL is happening Sunday night. Eagles versus Cowboys. The Eagles survived against the Cowboys last time, but this is a Cowboys team that is very much, to my dismay, playing very well. I hate to say it, they're playing well. And they are looking to take down the Eagles. I would actually think it'd be funny if the Eagles only had 2 losses, but they were to the Jets and the Cowboys. Even if they won the Super Bowl, you can't live that down. You lost to the Jets and the Cowboys, like 2 of the worst fan bases, 2 of the most hated teams. So, I'll kind of want that to happen. I want them to lose on Sunday, win the Super Bowl, just so they can never live that down. Again, this game has all sorts of implications on who wins the NFC East, who gets the number 1 seed in the playoffs for the NFC. So not only will this be a good football game, it will set the course of playoff scenarios for the rest of the season. All right, Monday night, we actually have 2 games. I'm not sure why the NFL is airing 2 games at the exact same time. I miss the old days when they would do like 1 early game, 1 late game. I'm all for 2 Monday night games, but they need to be staggered time slots. All right, the first Monday night game, we had the Packers and the Loverfest going down to New Jersey to take on my main man, Tommy DeVito. I think I've made it clear. We're a pro Tommy DeVito podcast. The dude's an absolute legend. He's got his own emoji. It's this. This is his touchdown celebration. This is peak New Jersey right here. Dude's a legend. We love Tommy DeVito on the show, but I want nothing more than the Packers to come into MetLife and destroy the Giants. For my New York fans, that our team still sucks. The other Monday night game, we have a Titans versus Dolphins. Titans aren't playing too well right now, so this shouldn't be an easy win for the Dolphins. But I'm also glad that the Dolphins are the team for Hard Knocks, and they are the team on Hard Knocks in season, the TV documentary HBO. Since Hard Knocks expanded to doing in season, they've picked 2 really average teams. They had the Colts in 2021, they had the Cardinals last year. But now they have a team that's actually fun to watch, and also just like a great group of guys. I love Mike McDaniel. We're a pro Mike McDaniel podcast. He's the man. So definitely going to be looking forward to watching Hard Knocks. Maybe I'll talk about Hard Knocks on the show. Yeah, next week I will talk about Hard Knocks. I've said it here. I'm going to watch all the episodes, and we will discuss. That's our show for this week. If you're listening for the show first time on Spotify, you can find all the episodes of Step 1 on YouTube. Give us a follow on Instagram at Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.